Storytime with Frog is the review of one woman's life who has lived the spectacle of FROG, or fully reliant on God. Not a storybook or Cinderella story, but in fact, the full history of ups and downs, joys and trials of life, the human condition, and this one woman's journey guided by her strength and faith in God. It's not all tulips and roses, but a beautiful rosebush has plenty of thorns. Life is designed to be this way, even when led by Him. Join us for Storytime with Frog with Veda McGregor and Rob Dalton.
Hey, welcome back. We are back for what may be our final episode if all goes according to plan. But you know how it happens when you plan. Sometimes you plan to fail, sometimes you plan to succeed. So we'll see which one it is.
We'll see what happens.
Welcome to Storytime with Frog. I'm Rob Dalton.
I'm Veda McGregor.
We are here for another episode of Fully Relying on God. It is Storytime with Frog, PG-13. And if you've listened to the past couple of episodes, you know why. But there's lessons in all of it for all ages, just not too young.
Yes.
But hey, we'll leave it up to you, educated parents, and you can decide. Life is real.
I want to say thank you for sticking it out. That's what I want to say. Not all of this is really easy to talk about, much less is it, I'm sure, very easy to listen to.
Yeah.
Because we're all up in our feelers, and I'm certain that our wonderful audience out there are kind of getting some little spots touched inside themselves.
Yeah.
And I want to acknowledge that you're being touched inside yourself in places, and that's a really good thing. That's a really good thing.
And I think there's a few triggers.
Well, I hope
memories.
so. I hope
some
so.
memories out there that makes it real, and gives people hope, and you're in the middle of the storm. It sure is hard to see the sun.
Nope.
It really is. So
that's why we need each other. One of many reasons.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we can.
Absolutely.
So we're wrapping up the second husband, and we're moving on to the third, right? And we're finding out as we enter this that history repeats itself.
Boy, does it ever. When you don't learn your lessons, you definitely repeat them.
And that's something, too, that we were talking about.
And there's no shame in that at all. Not at all.
History will repeat itself.
Recognition is a good thing.
Until you learn from it.
Yes.
When you decide you've learned your lesson, you'll be surprised at how that stops happening.
Well, you get a level of conviction that you just can't get anywhere else. It's a proper, what I would call a proper motivation for change. Yeah.
And it's whether it's a job or mistakes in the job, or
no matter what,
or family, or relationships, or self-sabotaging until you lose.
Don't we do that?
Boy, we do. But the history will repeat itself until you learn your lesson, and then it magically goes away because it's there. It's an obstacle until you learn from it. So
I do want to visit one spot back from husband number two, because what happens, husband number two was, I call him the most flavorful of all of them as far as the degree of yuckiness. I'll just call it yuckiness.
Yep.
Disparity. And the mind is a funny little thing that when you're going through traumatic experiences like the ones that we've been talking about, a lot of times I absolutely left my body. That is a beautiful, beautiful gift that the human brain is wired to do. When we are in a position under extreme duress, we have the ability. It's a gift that we're given, that our brain, we can leave our body and watch, be somewhere else when these traumatic events are happening. And so therefore, as you move out of all the factors that go with removing yourself from a toxic situation like that, after you get enough distance, after you get enough healing going on, then things will begin to pop. You'll smell something, you'll hear something, you'll see something, and something you were talking about trigger when we first started. And so what I found after coming out of husband number two and beginning to heal, I started experiencing these moments of clarity, of those times when my spirit left my body to protect, so that I could be protected. And so some of the things that started coming back were very traumatic events that my psyche had no memory of. I had absolutely no conscious memory of them. But once you start the healing process, those things will come up. You want them to come up because you certainly don't want to house them unknowingly.
Right.
So there's great benefit in doing heart work and unraveling from the effects of trauma. So, like being held out a 3-story building by my ankles, not having any idea that that actually happened to me until driving by that particular building, looking up, and all of a sudden,
Flashback.
there's a rush. Yeah, and it's not any different than somebody that's been in a foxhole in a war. Everything about it just washes over you in an instant. There's no breathing. You can't see. You can't speak. You can't think. And those are things that come back because it's time for us to know.
Yeah.
It's time for us to understand. So I just wanted to throw that out there about coming off of the real grievous one, which was husband number 2, which is in heaven, by the way. I mentioned that, I think, before.
Yep.
And he is free from all that. So I'm extremely thankful.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yes, those memories are, we are protected for a purpose. And it is critical to continue our unraveling process so that we can get to a point where we can process those things and get to the other side of them and pull the meat of it and the purpose of it out, because that's what we want. That's what we want to live.
It's still something
forward.
You have to deal with.
Absolutely, because just because it's housed and you're not conscious of it doesn't mean that it's not affecting you.
Right.
Yes. And I don't like things sneaking up on me. How about you? I don't like those kind of things sneaking up on me. I like to actively go looking for them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And when you start the healing process, you can.
Yeah, you've got the skill set to do that. So that's important.
Yeah.
We're digging into the final the final of the bad ones at the beginning. Husband 3, 7 years.
Yes.
But it was a continuation.
Oh yes.
Of the
I picked right back up.
The same language.
Yes.
Of husband 2. Now that you're well versed in it.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and immerse yourself in it again, because
yes, let's do.
So there was a time when the kids had to call 911.
There was, but I want to tell you about how I crawled into this one.
Okay.
Okay. Let me tell you how I crawled into this one.
Too far ahead.
Because, well,
the backstory.
Number 3, after having 2 failed marriages, remember my example.
Yeah.
Remember my example. One shot.
Have it at home.
One shot. That's it. That's it. And I had failed twice now. So I really didn't believe in any other chances for myself. And I went to work as a temporary person at a company, electrical supply company. And that's how I met husband number 3.
Yeah.
I had gone in to help them get some work done on a project and met him, 15 years my senior, this one. Carried a Bible with him. Studied the Bible on his lunch hour.
Yeah.
And, prayed and talked to the Lord, and all the things that people that carry a Bible around generally do.
Right.
So I mean, it wasn't out of my realm.
Visual representation.
Yes, exactly. So tick.
There's a box check.
There's a box check.
Yeah.
What is it about me and those damn boxes, Rob? I mean, my word. Veda, get a hold of yourself and get rid of those boxes. But that equated to safety to me, Rob. What was I missing in the first 2? Safety, Rob.
Yeah.
I was missing safety. I was missing a man that loved me unconditionally and protected me at all costs.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And now here is this man.
With
15 years my senior, with a Bible. Been working in the same career forever.
Steady.
Oh, yeah. Marine.
Stable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Alleged Vietnam veteran. Alleged. Found out much later that that's not what was happening. Because I had excused his behavior as being a combat veteran from Vietnam. Because he was a sniper, allegedly.
Oh.
And turned out in the end, he never even went overseas.
Okay.
But anyway, it made a lot of the other stuff make sense.
Okay.
Because of how horribly he felt about himself. I mean, to create that size of a lie for a man of that age and that, I mean, why?
Yeah.
Why? But anyway, there was a whole lot of lies going on behind the facade, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I did get my bonus son Nolan, because he had a son, and I fell in love with him. His mother unfortunately tragically died of brain cancer, and I became his mom. Yeah. So I got a bonus. I got a bonus kid. Nolan was, I think, 8 or 9 when we got married.
Okay.
Yeah, and he came to live with us because his mother was passing away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good.
Yeah. Yeah. So I got a wonderful son. He's a teacher in Oklahoma now. And I'm extremely proud of him and my grandson, Mr. Henry Bear, my redhead. Um, but the thing with this particular marriage was, like I said, he represented safety to me. He represented stability. Um, and I was willing to move anywhere and everywhere to follow and, just move as a family. I couldn't tell you how many times. Probably moved once a year for 6 of those 7 years
Oh, okay.
during that time. And, packing up a household with 4 people and, only
Yeah.
one person doing it and all that kind of stuff because he was so busy doing busy stuff. But yeah, he was a different kind of human. Again, secrets,
Yeah.
family, conditional secrets that, you don't lead with when you meet someone right
Yeah.
off the bat.
Those don't come out in the
Not
first 3
really,
dates.
no. Those
Yeah.
are the things that most people live their entire lives crafting a way inside themselves to deal with it. So you're not going to get the real thing. You're going to get what was crafted to
Right.
manage
The
it.
version of it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. So until you've taken the time and opportunity to get to know someone, you're not going to get to know them. They're going to present to you what they want you to see and nothing else. And unless you've had enough time and enough circumstances that you've faced together, you have no idea who you're working
Oh, and
with.
that's where 7 years of marriage comes from.
Yeah, you think, right?
It's the
You would think.
slow peeling of the onion.
Yes, I
Yeah.
call it the slow burn. That was the slow burn to reality. Because you go into a relationship with these blinders on because you have your own agenda.
You're only looking for what you're
Yes,
looking
that's
for.
right. That's right. And I'm looking for what was missing from the other ones.
Right.
I think that's a human thing to do.
It is people do that
But
with
it's
jobs
just totally
too.
need driven. It's not divinely appointed.
Yeah.
You see why none of that worked?
Yeah.
Because they were not divinely appointed.
And you were just checking boxes.
Wasn't I? I just
once you hit 4, you were in.
Agenda. That's all it was.
Those other 7, I'll fill those in.
Oh, my stars.
Later.
It's not always easy taking an honest, authentic look at yourself. Transparency is fun though, because I tell you what, we really don't have anything to hide because I am certainly not unique in my experiences. There are many of us out there. So I'm just grateful that y'all are interested enough to listen for a minute or two and maybe get some hope and some humor. Because
you're going into this. You're going into this third marriage with a little more faith because it might be coming from the other party.
Yes.
And the other ones, you were alone in your faith.
Oh, yes.
But this one, you had a Bible carrying gentleman who.
Yes. I went from literally hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you saw the hope in.
And that Bible.
Right. Right.
I really, 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 I put so much into because of where I came from. I mean, that's what I saw in my own family. I saw the men and the women in my family just pouring into it and pulling out of it and practicing it and living it. But looks are very deceiving.
You just stop looking.
Yeah. Well, because it was there, right? Yeah. I saw the proof.
Right.
What more did I need?
And how'd that go for you?
I have another foot I can shoot right here. There's plenty of room for more holes in my feet, I tell you. But I don't have any desire to go down another road like that, or so I thought. Yeah. So number 3 lasted 7 years. We lived all over the place around Atlanta and Georgia and stuff like that. And then when we finally moved back to Texas, now while this was going on, remember in the other marriages, I really didn't reach for coping mechanisms. I mean, I smoked a little weed. I had a cousin that cooked meth, so I would do a little of that. Crank, I think they called it at the time. So I would eat a little bit of that once in a while just to get a little speedy thing. I was never one of those like depressant people. I wanted to go faster. But not as like a regular daily kind of anything, like a weekend here or a weekend there. But now when I got off into this marriage and away from my family and my support system.
Right. Your core, family core.
Yes. Well, then I was absolutely on my own.
Again.
With no net.
Yeah.
No sources. No nothing. And a Bible that was now, I was being literally beaten with it.
Yeah.
Like slapped across the face, bruised, cut with a Bible.
Which
So
has
now it's
never
actually
been a weapon before.
no, and now it's literally been used as a weapon against me, and so it got to a point where I had to reach for something, and I reached for cocaine, and that was my thing in Georgia. Was reaching for cocaine because there was absolutely no sensibility to the life that I was living. It made no sense to me. I had this daughter who's what 2, 3 years old
Right.
now, and now I have this bonus son, and I don't have any idea what that dynamic is going on between those two, the father and the son. Much it made no sense to me because Nolan was just hated his dad. And he hated me at the time because the poor little boy's mother passed away. And for
Right.
the longest time, they had no idea what was driving her erratic behavior, but it was brain tumors. So, in his little mind, the timing of his parents' relationship falling apart and the timing of my relationship with his dad coming together, to him, they were all the same. That was all the same. So I was the bad guy for the longest time. We have a wonderful relationship now, and we're very
Age
close.
is age. Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes. Well, and and he gained an understanding of
Yes.
better understanding
Yes.
into the relational side of his dad, and now they have a great relationship as well.
Good.
And I'm what am I 62, and he's 15 years my senior, so he's getting on up there,
Yeah.
in age, and still very happy from what I understand, and getting some new body parts and becoming some
Okay.
bionic about him. But yeah, we. It was hard. It was really, really hard. And when you add drugs to the mix, it got
It's
really.
like an accelerant.
Oh, wasn't that? And that was exactly like just pouring gasoline on
Yeah.
fire.
Yeah.
Is what it was, and to the point where I was breaking the law. I was having, I was getting those drugs when we moved back to Texas, sent in ways that never should have been, highly illegal and all that kind of stuff. Thank God it's 40 something years ago, but still not anything that I'm proud of, um, because that's just not that was never among my repertoire of
But
behavior.
again, just part of your
I
journey.
was part of my journey and learning to cope.
And now you can relate that to people you're helping now.
Absolutely, absolutely. There was, and because of the drugs, we also got into he required swinging and including other people and stuff like that. That was the last thing I ever. There wasn't enough dope to get through that stuff. So I just felt insanely filthy and guilty
Yep.
and insecure. And it was horrible.
Yep.
It was a horrible way to live. I'm trying to live one way for my kids, and then I'm doing this stuff to try to keep the distance. It was a nightmare. Nobody should have to live that way because that's not really living. That's just surviving from one moment to the next and just trying to breathe and keep breathing.
Yeah.
So, not a life, just surviving. And those don't happen in the same place.
Right.
Unfortunately.
How did it end?
Very anticlimactically.
Okay.
He found somebody else. I was working in surgery for 4 years up there at a hospital, or down there in Waco when we first got back to Texas at a hospital, and he met an administrator lady or something that was more his age and his speed and stuff, and so yeah, they apparently got together, and then I found out, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm way done. So that's cool for you. Do your thing, and I'm gonna get on up out of here. I'm gonna get on up out of here. So I lived on the couch a little bit until I moved in with one of my nurse friends into an apartment, took my daughter, and hardest thing I ever did was leave my son.
I was going to say,
Hardest thing I ever
alone and
did
left
was leave
behind.
my son. The only reason I stayed as long as I did, because I knew I would not be able to get to take my son with me.
Yeah.
And to leave him behind with him, the dad, in the current state that I felt like he was in, whew, that was just unheard of for a mama's heart. Because I fell in love with him and he's mine.
Yeah.
He's always been mine. Yeah.
Still is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. Well, his mother gave me charge of him. So.
Well, they were formidable years for him too.
Very much. So,
2 to 5 is different than 8 to 12.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it's just different.
And I really and he tells me today, to this day, just what a difference that I made.
Yep.
For him.
Good.
So, and he's a great kid.
He got through it himself.
He did. He did. I wished I could have made it better for him,
you had an impact.
I did have an impact.
And that was enough to
It
give him
was.
some confidence and that there's another language
Yes.
to be learned.
Yes.
And he chose your language instead of his.
And you know what he's doing now? He just told me in December when I was there, had lunch with him, and he started a Bible study group with some of his single male teachers.
Single male teacher.
Yes,
All right.
because he's a school teacher,
Yeah.
junior high school teacher, and yes, because religion and a relationship with Father has been, you know, kind of off and on for Nolan.
Yeah.
Because, you know, he's seen
both.
all the sides.
Like you. Yeah.
Yes, he's seen all the sides. So yes, he's a huge success and just wonderful at everything that he does.
And it probably wouldn't
And
have happened without your impact.
I would like to think it wouldn't have.
I think because he would have been stuck in the same language.
Yes, likely so. But he knows unconditional love.
Yeah,
absolutely, because that was something that I was able to
and
provide.
you share it today.
Oh yeah,
yeah, but he still feels that.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, so pain.
It's really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, so part of your pain was alleviating somebody else's.
Absolutely, yes.
But you had to experience that to do that.
Oh yeah.
So otherwise, it may not have happened.
I had to get him, and then I had to lose him.
Yeah.
And then only a few years later,
because at that point he had the choice.
Oh yeah.
Which language he wanted to talk, or which language he wanted to speak. Yeah. As far as relationships go.
Yes. And it was only a couple of years before he looked me up and found me.
Yeah.
I was an officer by then. And that was kind of a trip for him to find out. I hear you're a police officer. Yeah, it's different.
From where you were in Georgia.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so that was number 3. I'm really glad that they're doing well. His family is doing well. I was very close to his mother, husband number 3's mother, and we had a really nice relationship as well. So I was able to collect a lot of hearts and a lot of love along the way. And the one thing about these kind of struggles and strife is the beauty in the conflict between the two. You know, I mean, without tremendous pressure and stress, you don't really understand the opposite of that, which is peace and joy and moderation and balance. So those things are important to exist in the same plane. We need to have those two opposites.
Yep.
In order to appreciate.
We are a planet of duality.
We are, and we have to get into that mode where we receive and accept that truth and operate from that that spot instead of this. You know, I call it default living.
Yeah.
Just living as a default of all your life experiences. There's not a whole lot of purpose in that. You're just kind of like a pinball in a machine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So every time you get a thought or whatever, bing, you go that way. Bing, you go that way. I can't live like that, man. I'm too old. I can't ping anymore. I need moderation.
Then they're done. They got the T-shirt.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't need any of that. No. I'm kind of liking where things are at now.
Good.
Really liking them a lot.
I wanted you the chance to read a verbatim from your 51 pages.
Oh. Okay.
Because again, I do this from time to time because
yes.
The words in the moment of the writing are better than what you can recreate sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it's like I'm reading someone else's when I read them again. Through 13 years and 3 former husbands, I've learned a lot more than I ever thought possible. By choosing to allow God to heal my heart, I'm now able to share my pain and struggles to help others do the same. I pray you are receiving blessings, comfort, and most of all, hope as you hear these words. You are worth the healing process and all that it takes to create a life you were meant to live, rather than one you are simply surviving. Yes, and yes. Yes, absolutely.
And I don't know that you could say it so succinctly.
Oh, not today. No, I don't know how 15, 20 years ago that was written.
And before we move on to the next chapter in your life, another quick verbatim.
Oh, after spending 13 years in 3 failed marriages, I told God how good I was with the 3 strikes you're out rule. Now that we were safe, there's no reason to go looking for trouble. I survived and have to learn how my life moves forward according to God's plan instead of mine. It was evident my picker was damaged. That's an understatement. Living as a tortured prisoner of war in your own home leaves you with some open wounds, and worse than those, the hidden ones.
So I bring that up because You're going back to being fully reliant on God.
Yeah.
So you, in your own, you take responsibility to some degree. My picker's broken.
Yep.
Apparently I messed it up.
Yes.
So
Totally.
you know what?
Yeah.
I'm putting you back in control. And that's kind of where I was going with this.
And I love that. There was so much freedom in
there
that
was,
decision.
but we have to get there.
Well, surrender does not feel right for survivors.
It doesn't.
We don't surrender well.
We don't know. We fight. We fight.
We white knuckle that shit all the way to the barn. It's unfortunate.
And that last one was important. And again, it was for me. I felt it was important to read the verbatim because you knew in that moment, I can't do this by myself anymore.
No.
I've been making decisions on my own.
Yes.
So
and taking me right into the pit every time.
You know what, Father, because you have a relationship with Father.
Yes.
You go to him for counsel.
And I trust him now.
And counsel and consolation.
Yes.
You know what? I can't do this without you. No. So would you
join?
Do
I want to. Yeah.
Would you join me on my journey? Yeah. Even though you've always been there.
Yeah. Yeah, but I really want you here now. Okay? I'm like dead serious. Not like don't play
surrender.
With me.
I surrender. I surrender. And that's where you are.
Yes.
But you had to be put there.
I did. You didn't think I'd go there on my own.
Oh.
No, hell no.
That's what we were hoping.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice if it was just willing?
But a relationship with Father is being open to his teachings, being open to the opportunities, practicing free will and failing.
Yes.
Because you learn from your failures.
Yes.
And then going back to him and saying, I can't do this without you.
Yeah.
Fully relying on God. Even when he's not, even when you don't think he's there, he's there.
When you feel all alone, you're full of crap because you're not all alone. You're never alone.
But he's going to give you the space you need.
Yes.
Where they say just enough rope to hang yourself, kind of thing. You know,
exactly.
And then he'll be like a father.
Yes.
We've talked about it before. Not a God,
no,
but like a father.
Yes.
Can you help me out, please, Father?
Please.
And how does he respond?
Oh, I love you. Thank you for asking. I thought you'd never call. I've been waiting.
I have been waiting.
That free will thing, does it not get in the way?
I know. And you know,
exhausting.
And one of the things I keep getting from him in my conversations with him is, I know where you are all the time.
Yes.
You need to come find me.
Hello.
And he tells me that, and he tells me to share that with others.
Mm-hmm.
I know where you are. It's time. You need to come find me because I know exactly where you are. Mm-hmm. But I need you to look for me. Mm-hmm. And so how's
that going?
Yeah. Well,
how's that going, Ron?
He's got a hotline now.
I was going to say, your red phone does not really slow down.
I know.
Does it?
He wakes me up almost.
Now you're wishing you had some downtime. Don't ever wish that, because don't.
No, I don't. I don't.
Full throttle only,
He gives me a break now and then, but for those of you that don't know, I get woken up almost every morning with a dream and a song. He's so good about giving me.
Met with a song. Well, music speaks to the soul.
He knows that. He's fine.
So many of the great ones are already up there. So.
I can't even. Maybe someday I'll release the library of stuff I get, because I do build a playlist called Songs from Source. Yes. I have a playlist because some of them, and the hard thing is when he gives me that song to wake me up.
Yes.
Sometimes I've never even heard it, so I have to somehow go to Google and find a couple lyrics, and then with
relational dialogue.
I get a couple clues, or they'll pop up a YouTube video. That's the one, because it's hard to find songs you don't know.
Well,
but anyway, I found some amazing songs that they've given me.
I'm glad you have a playlist.
I do.
I want to hear it.
It's pretty.
I need that.
Yeah, it's nice.
On my whatever you. I was gonna say Walkman.
Well, we're going back in time.
We've gone to 1970 now. Holy cow! I said Walkman. Okay.
So we've got the lessons. Excuse me. I'm sorry. You've practiced surrender, and now
that's really
the next
hard.
chapter in your life.
I mean, that's not an easy word for people who have been victims. Surrender. Yeah, we're not.
I know. And as strong as I've been all my life, the last thing I thought I needed to do was surrender.
Because doesn't surrender equal weak?
In today's world,
yeah. In logic land.
And I had to. My journey has required a certain level, and boy, they will humble you when
all the way to your core.
Yeah. So you had a break after 3 for a little while, and because you were at surrender, you let go, and someone new came into your world when you really didn't want it.
I was not shopping. No, I had already shopped. I had the bags. I burned all the shirts. We were golden at that point. I was
You had your daughter.
sincere about being a single mom.
Apparently, I can't get it right, so I'm just going to do it on my own.
That gum Skippy, man. I know what I'm doing now. I finally learned what not to do. Now I know what to do for sure. So yes, fortunately, I have a sister cousin. Turns out, after 25 years of friends, we are related through our moms. It's so awesome. My Rhonda Kay, and she opened up her home and invited Jennifer and I to move in there and stay there and save money and yeah, since I was newly surrendered back to the Father, right after husband number 3, and I'm like, okay, we're all done and everything. This is so cool.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier, 3 strikes, I'm out.
And it just made the rest of my life so much less complicated. Well, then I had sent out resumes from Waco. I got hired over the phone basically with the hospital in Carrollton as a instrument or a scrub tech in surgery. And so once I got moved here, I just went on the interview. They offered me the position. I accepted the position. It went well with, my daughter's school hours and all that kind of. The money was pretty righteous, pretty close to what I was making before.
Yeah.
And so I went home, went back to Rhonda's where we were staying, and I'm getting undressed from the interview and all that, and I get a call from a lady from another company that I had applied for. It was some kind of electrical supply, robotic supply kind of company, something, and I had been in lighting and electrical and lighting distribution in Atlanta prior to going to Waco and getting involved in the surgical thing. So it wasn't anything I was, out of my scope of possibility, but I was polite to her, blah, blah, blah. I just got back from accepting the position that I've already taken, blah, 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 blah. So no, thank you. And thank you. Well, she wouldn't stop talking. So I finally, just to get her to shut up, I said, look, you're 20 minutes from me. Fine. And so I'm mad. I'm mad because she's been bugging me and poking at me, and
she won't leave you alone.
She wouldn't leave me alone or let me off the phone.
Yeah.
So I've got one pantyhose leg on and one pantyhose leg off as I'm on the phone with this woman because I'm getting out of my clothes. I already got my job. So now I'm fussing at the Lord, and I'm like, okay, what in the hell are we doing? So I tell her, I'm like, I'll be there in 20 minutes. She said, please just give me a little bit of your time. Just come and sit down and talk to me. I already told you I took the job. Okay. So I put the other pantyhose leg back on.
Which is a pretty good paying job.
It is a pretty good paying job, yeah. And I get my pantyhose back on, and I get in the Jeep, and I'm heading towards Denton. And I'm cussing him at this point because we already had this thing all nailed down. And I don't know what this confusing thing is, because why is he telling me now to go to talk to this lady? So I'm like, all right, well, if you're going to be this way about it, then fine. You just be that way about it. So here's what I'm going to need you to do for me. Now, if this is where you actually want me to be, if this is really your job and your position and your will, then you're going to have to do this. I need you to anoint the doorway. Just anoint it, anoint it, anoint it. So that as soon as my body crosses the threshold, it grabs a hold of me, and I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, this is where you want me.
All right.
And if it's not that, then it's not me.
Right. I've already
for me. I already have my job.
Yep.
So this is what I told him he would be doing. He would be doing
on your way to Denton.
For me on my way to Denton, as I'm anyway. So I can't believe he's such a loving father. So I get there and I walk through the doorway, and lo and behold, I feel actually pulled into this place, like I'm catapulted in. Well, there's this little bitty like
you almost stumble through the door.
Yeah. Like she's like 5 foot high. This little blonde. She was a nun for 30 years, and now she's like the vice president or something at this whole company. And so she brings me. We sit down and talk for 3 stupid hours, Rob. 3 hours.
Damn it!
I know. Totally screwed up my entire plan. Everything was in place. I ended up going to work for them, and that's where I met Mr. Jerry, number 4. But I was so mad because I took a huge, gigantic pay cut.
Yeah.
I could not even afford all my bills. And
with this new job.
Yes.
With the second new job.
With the second new job.
Yeah.
And so I had to call the lady back that I already committed to. Well, I don't break commitments. So I had to call her back and say, I'm so sorry. I had to take another job. I know I took this job, but I had to go take another job because anyway. So
Father anointed the doorway.
He did, and everything felt.
I made a promise,
and so I had to come back over here and tell you, no, I'm sorry, I can't accept the position. So Within just a few, I don't know, maybe 6 or 8 weeks, they start talking about, because we were an employee-owned business, and so we would have our roundtables, every week, and so they were talking about grooming this guy, this engineer from Chicago. Well, that was Jerry McGregor.
Ah.
So they brought him in, they wined him, they dined him, they took him out on the lake,
And here you are getting less money than they're bringing in a guy from Chicago. Yeah.
An engineer they didn't even need. They already had one. They didn't need him. And
she's pointing stage right. There's a reason.
Yes, I am pointing stage right because he's right over there. And I did not understand what in the hell God was doing, because he just blistered me all the way to my bones. I didn't understand why in the world would he send me to a place where I'm doing something I have no desire to do. I'm an inside salesperson. No, I'm not. I want my hands inside people, helping keep them alive and stuff. That's really what I'm here to do. But no, I became this inside salesperson for robotic junk that I had no interest in. And then they hired this guy right here. And then when they hire him, I am mad as hell, because now my paycheck, the money I should be getting in my bonuses, is not going to him. Well, needless to say, my first point of contact with him was not positive. I already didn't like him before he ever stepped through the door. And I remember when they brought him down the hallway, and I'm in the file cabinet right with my back to him. Well, now, Veda, I want to introduce you to Jerry McGregor. And I'm like,
there he is. Yeah.
I turn around. Of course, I'm looking cute because I'm cute. And I turn around and I look him up and down, and he's V-cut and he's gorgeous and he's like a brick shit house, literally. And I was just like, is that what our money paid for? This is what I said in my mind. I didn't say it out loud. I just said, nice to meet you. And turn around like I could give two craps about this man. And kept going through my pocket. So, yeah, I did not appreciate that man coming to work at my company and taking money off of my table.
Okay, one more verbatim.
Yes, sir. He does a great job managing me, doesn't he? It takes a lot. Ooh, one thing's for sure. Holy cow.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. One thing is for sure. This man is HOT. Cut like a professional weightlifter. You could see the ripples through his shirts and his arms in the summer. He had a very quiet confidence about him. Now I'm hoping he's considering what I told him at the restaurant that day on the way to the office. I think I want to take this one for a test. I did take this one for a test. 33 plus years later. Yeah. So that's a good thing to read.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you.
I wanted to get a little red. I wanted to get you a little red on that one.
I am red.
So it's worked out well, and
it's worked out.
33 years. He was what you needed, but only after you got what you needed.
Yeah.
He was your reward.
Yes.
After serving your time.
Yes.
To some degree.
Yes.
And that's important to note. So
yes.
We've only got a few minutes left, but we're going to have a wrap up here in the end. But I want to bring Jerry in for just a moment.
Where's Jerry?
And you can tell what the last few years have been for you guys.
Okay.
Hey, Jerry, come on in. I'm going to just hand over the mics for a minute and let you two. I want you two to talk about your relationship. We're trying to wrap up the last episode, but I wanted to bring you on camera. So live interaction here. I'm not going to bother cutting out. But, find a home for that. Maybe and I'll leave it to you. And
You're a great production coordinator, man.
I'm not going to bother editing this out. We're all family by now.
Yes, we are. You got it? Yep. No falling allowed. No pulling on cords. Hello there, number 4. This is number 4, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like for you to meet number 4. Oh, you need some help?
Yeah, I'm not used to it.
I know.
Okay.
You're gonna slide that right up to your face. There you go. Hi.
Hello.
Hello, number 4. So, do you want to tell everybody, kind of what running into this wild, crazy woman at that time in your life was?
Yeah, so I got out of college and took a job. Started my robotic engineering career, and got to talking to the guy that became our boss, and he got me to come down to Texas, and there you were. I remember the moment she was talking about when she was standing in front of the file cabinet. Remember her legs were kind of long. And she had a plain way of talking, and I was somewhat bashful, so I stayed quiet a lot. I remember that.
I never met a shy guy before. Man, I didn't know that existed, but sure shoot, you were very shy.
And she was she told me I talked like TV.
He did, no accent at all. I didn't know how to listen to him. So how have the last 33 and a half years been?
A love roller coaster, ups and downs. We went through times where I lived on the road, and then we went through times more lately where I'm home all the time, and we spend all our time together, where before we didn't get to spend any of our time together.
Has that been an easy transition for us?
No, there's a lot that goes into that.
Yeah.
Microphone might be noisy.
Okay. So how is it now?
How is our love?
Mm-hmm.
Love is a battlefield.
That's a song, Jerry.
Yeah, well, it's
Tell 'em
also
what
a
you mean by
fact.
that.
I mean, we fight. we fight for each other. It doesn't just happen, and she struggles because of that example she had, thinking it just happens. And then my example was quite different. So the examples I try to live are more from her life. When I first met her, she introduced me to her granny, and her granny asked me if I knew Jesus.
Yeah.
And I told her I heard of him. And she looked at her and said, "Oh, he just doesn't know yet," or something.
Yeah. No, that was it.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing with your traumatic brain injury how much you can remember.
Yeah, and how much I can't.
Yeah, that's okay. You get the highlights though.
Yeah. So what do you want to know?
Well, I think that's pretty much it. We've been at it for a long time, ups and downs like any other relationship, and always a work in progress, because relationships have to be worked on and nurtured and fed and weeded and all the things to keep it fruitful and positive. And that's what's nice. So, thank you for joining with us. Number 4.
It's an honor. I'm thrilled to be hanging in.
I love you, Jibber. Thanks for being my forever.
Thank you. I love you.
I love you. Well, come back into the Love Fest, Mr. Rob.
My turn. Yeah. All right. We will casually wrap this up.
Thank you, Mr. Jerry.
Have a live transfer of power.
There you go.
We could have been polished and edited this out, but that's not what we do.
What is the fun of that?
Yeah. So
then they would think we had some kind of professionalism going on.
An actual producer director. So I wanted everyone to meet Jerry. It's been fun getting to know both of them and seeing their sincerity and their friendship and their kinship and their love and their marriage, and they're working on this new life adventure together at thebeliefcenter.org, and we'll wrap up with that here in a minute. But it was important that you know that there's a happy ending.
Yes.
And
it's not all uphill. I swear it seems like it sometimes, but it really isn't.
But Father, you struggle.
Oh boy, yeah.
But when you're done learning your lessons, okay, now you can exhale.
Yes.
And you have someone to exhale with.
Yeah.
And you're not done learning.
Oh gosh, no. Wait a minute, hang on. No. I'm still breathing.
You're still breathing. So you're not done learning, but it's important to know that there's hope. And even when you don't have it, or even when you think you don't need it,
yes,
Father continues to give you what you need.
Yes.
not what you want,
No, God, please don't give me what I want.
except once in a while. But like an anointed door.
Cheeseburger. No.
Cheeseburger.
I miss cheeseburger.
But we get what we need, and He knows what that is. And you've also, you don't know that, but these are some of the things you need. You've asked for pre-incarnation.
Oh, absolutely.
And you and I understand that,
Yeah.
and many others do as well.
Yeah.
You put up things along your way that you're going to need, and they come when you're ready.
They do.
And
they can't come a second before either.
Right. And that's hard to understand.
Time.
In the heat of the battle, it's hard to understand. But thank you, Jerry, for coming on air for just a moment. I just wanted you to meet him because he's
real.
He does
real.
exist.
One made it.
He is a
He's
sweet.
the one who made it.
Yes, yeah. He's a sweet man.
He's curtsying. You're really good at
that. We like that. As we wrap things up, two things I wanted to end with. Where are they now? So there's a few people that you brought up in your stories.
Yeah.
Closing the envelopes, as I like to say in this business. Let's seal the envelopes on some of those people. Good. So who do you want as of the people we brought up? Where are they now? Anyone that you want to talk about? I know you mentioned Nolan.
Yes, my sweet Nolan.
Right.
My sweet Jennifer, our sweet Jennifer. Jerry adopted her when she was, I think, 8. She was about 8 years old. Okay. So that's the only dad she's ever known.
Good.
And loves, and they're great friends. We're blessed with 4 grandchildren. That wow, they grow up so stinking fast, and I know that that some of our grandchildren have the spiritual gifts.
Good.
That are shared with myself and my lineage, which is wonderful. I want to say I mentioned a friend, Vivian. I have friends from high school that shepherded me and were safe places for me during those tumultuous times when I was young.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So my Vivian, my Jill. Oh my goodness, my Jill. They're just those two right there just totally stick out because when I needed a Hail Mary, they were my Hail Marys. And more than once, and they're still very active friends in my life now. And so few people have gifts like that, where they have people that have been part of their lives since they were a child, especially at 62 years old. So those two definitely, and then my guy tribe. Growing up a tomboy,
yep.
My guy tribe. It was my baseball players, my football players. They were my brothers and my best friends.
Extended family,
absolutely,
in a different sense. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when we get back together on June 1st for the reunion, it'll be like no time has passed. And our connections are just as solid as they've ever been, and I think they're even stronger the older that we get. Yes. And just true treasures in my life, and of course the tribe that's attached to the Belief Center. We've built that for the last 10 years, and so many relationships there. With your bride, relationships with 22 plus years with a good number of people that we've been on this growing journey together with, and it's just wonderful to have you and part of the tribe. I was just honored to be at your nuptial and your connection and your wedding, and your two beautiful lives coming together and the family that y'all have become.
10 months ago.
Wow, has it really been 10 months?
Yeah.
Gosh, it's going by so fast. But that's because you're living a beautiful life, and it does go fast when you're having a great time. A great time. I treasure our friendship too, sir, because you had the courage to step out and share your gifts with me. What, I don't know, has it been a couple years? It seems like it's been a minute. But gosh, just in the little bit of time, you're trusting in ways that for many of us it took a lot longer to gain that level of trust. So I completely treasure our connection and the gifts that you bring me.
Yeah.
I've always thought I was the weirdest one in the bunch because I've always been the weirdest one in the bunch, and then you come along and you make me feel so much better. I am not the weirdest one in the bunch. He's equally the weirdest one on the block, and I love having company here.
We are two bobbers in the same pond.
We are. I guarantee you there's some more of y'all out there, and we want to know who you are. So make sure and let us know.
Misery loves company sometimes. It's not an easy journey at all. We question so much of what we get because we're not, it's not part of our everyday world.
It's not of this world.
But we know that it's another truth, and it's difficult to wrestle with sometimes, but we have each other, and
We've been
we're new to
charged
this.
with great things
We have.
to accomplish.
We have, and I met you at the right time,
we did.
and this manifested with some divine intervention.
Oh, absolutely.
And,
Yeah. Well, since we're both following that divinity, it just natural that we'd end up at the spot.
Yeah. And
So I'm
with the
grateful.
experiences in my life, it has led me to have something like this for you. So
Yes.
I appreciate you coming to me with this
And
opportunity.
you have finally discovered that you're not quite as crazy as you thought. That you actually fit in a lot more than you suspected.
I fit in tomorrow, not yesterday.
I know, and it's hard. It's really
Yeah.
hard whenever you're set up to do that.
Yep.
To be here for this upcoming season in humanity, it's not easy being prepared before
Everybody else.
everybody else. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you for your support
Absolutely.
and your encouragement. We will wrap this up with a little bit about the beliefcenter.org.
Oh, hey, I like that place. I hope you will too.
It's a website you can visit. It is a .org. They are a nonprofit. They are a 501c3. They help healing, as you've heard about her experience and her empathy in all her life experiences, has well prepared her for the healing work that she can share and learn and teach others as others wish to learn. You help in classes. You help in
Yes.
jails.
Yes, we go to prison, the state prison.
You go to the state prisons. She's gotten the Governor Abbott Award for community service.
Yep, Volunteer of the Year, Reentry and Integration Division.
It's a
Award.
real thing.
It's
and
a big deal.
Hearts for Heroes. Jerry's a vet himself.
No.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. He's not. But our grandson is.
grandson
Both
is,
of
yeah.
his parents were WW2, so he's a product of two World
That's
War II
right.
veterans.
So
lots of scars from
I don't
that
have
generation.
I don't have decades with her. I'm still
No, we're still learning. We're still
learning.
learning. Yes,
But-
yes.
But
It's a lot.
It's a lot, but it's wonderful to be a part of your world, and
you.
I'm always looking for ways to serve.
And you do.
Serve others.
Yes.
And working with you in these organizations at the Belief Center, working with you on this podcast, and touching
Yes.
and reaching out to you, giving you hope and reminders that Father is out there for you when you are ready,
Yes.
and even when you're not.
Yes.
Find him. He wants to be there for you, and opportunities are coming for you to ask. So
It's exciting.
it's exciting.
It
So
is
thank
so
you
exciting.
for being a part of.
Here she is. Come here,
Yes.
Law. Come here, Law.
So
Come here, Law.
It's been a great experience. Thank you for bringing
has.
us into your lives for the
Yeah,
past.
it's really intimate to be in your space, with our stuff.
9 episodes. We got it done. This one went long because we didn't want to have to do another one and make you suffer. But if you stuck through it all, let us know. We'll send you a thank you note.
Yes, absolutely. And we would love to have your feedback. Please let us know how you
Yeah,
feel, how this hits you.
This is just us. We don't have
We're
any
just hanging out.
sponsors. We don't
No.
have any.
There's no money being exchanged here at all.
This is just us talking to you as just friends. And
Yes.
we hope that you've enjoyed this opportunity. Your life story is amazing. I know it will touch many people, and I am blessed.
It's a wild
to
one.
be a
It's
part
a
of it.
wild one.
But it needed to come out. It needed to come out and share and let people know that they're not alone.
Exactly. And I want to say a big thank you and shout out to my family of origin. I have aunts, uncles, cousins out there. Y'all are going to hear some of this stuff for the first time, and I'm so grateful that I came from our legacy, and it is because of the love that we were birthed into that I'm still sitting here alive, breathing, and still shining a reflection to the Father of the unconditional love that is possible between us. So, thanks, family. I love you.
And thank you for your support, and thank you for your friendship.
Thank you.
And
Thank you very much.
and your guidance, your mentorism. I'm happy to give back.
Thank you. Thank you. You
We
give
love
back
you.
in
Thanks for
ways-
being a part of Story Time with Frog.
There it is. And hey, if y'all are interested in some merchandise, just let us know. And I mean, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I've never even listened to a podcast before we started doing these because I live under a rock in the country. And but yeah, I understand that these are so cute. And I tell you what, she has a cute little heart tattoo on her hiney. But Law and I are very excited to be on this journey with y'all, and we would love for y'all to look up on Facebook the Belief Center. and check out when our next Heart Skills classes are. We have free ones 4 times a year and more. And if you are part of a group that you would like for your group to get a hold of some heart skills and to work them together, then we will absolutely come and do a class for you and your group.
A weekend.
Yes, it's just a little
weekend
2
class.
days. That's it, just
Yeah,
2 days,
we
Saturday
can-
and Sunday.
We can compact it quite a bit.
We absolutely can. So anyway, we just want to help you, like Rob said, we want to help you have hope, stay connected to Father Source, and hopefully be hope and light into your walk, so that you can find your way into what you want in your life. Because we can't do it by ourselves, but together there's nothing we can't do.
And
So
you're not alone.
yay,
You're not
absolutely
alone.
not, absolutely not. So thanks for participating, and there's going to be more, I'll bet you. It might look like some whole other thing. We don't know
could
what's
be.
going to happen.
Yeah, let's
But
find out.
for now, this is a beautiful gift, and I thank you so much for this.
You're
Rob.
welcome. It's been a pleasure. Hope you've enjoyed it too. Thanks for sticking around to the end. We love you. Thanks,
Veda.
everybody. Story time with Frog. Ribbit, ribbit.
Vita Velveeta, ribbit, ribbit.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good
Peace.
life.
Thank you. Come see us.
All right. Bye.
Bye.